It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Luka hasn't gotten a ton of opportunity this year. The first half was a little skittish, but he settled in and he scored twice in a row in the posts. And then after those two possessions, we pretended like Luka didn't exist. And Luka pretended like he didn't exist. And I think in those moments, that's where you see the really good teams, the teams that are thinking as a group and feeling the moment and understanding what's going on, they're going to ride the wave.
There is Will Hardy talking about Luka Samanic. And are they going to get a couple buckets and no good to go back to a guy a third time tonight when the Jazz play the Rockets? Figure it out.
Who? Who's he talking about?
Luka Samanic scored twice coming out of a timeout, and he was disappointed it never went back to him in the game Tuesday. So now, whoever it is, doesn't matter who it is, it happened to be Samanic in that game. They had a size mismatch and should have exploited it, but didn't.
Luka, what's it? Samanic, you say?
Yes.
I mean, we're not talking about Travis Boyd, Logan Cooley, Justin Kirkland, Alex Kerfoot.
Not yet.
That's old news, man.
Right.
Want to talk about Liam O'Brien? Come on, guys.
Oh, we're going to. Come on, guys. That was a nice come on, guys.
Lawson Krause?
Caught me off guard there.
Where you people at, man? It's all about the Coyotes. Josh Doan. You know who Josh Doan's father is?
Mr. Doan.
Shane Doan, the legendary Arizona Coyote.
There it is.
And his son, only 22 years of age, made his debut this year. Josh Doan. Get with the times, people.
He's the only native Arizonan on the Coyotes roster, and soon that will be less interesting.
He's the only Native American.
That's not true. John Leonard is your favorite Arizona Coyote guy, assuming he makes the transition with the team.
Who?
John Leonard.
Are you looking at the roster?
He's from Westwood, New Jersey. Tell me all about Westwood, PK. He's the only Jersey guy on the roster. First thing I checked.
I ain't looking at no roster.
I am.
No, I mean, when Josh Doan debuted, they made a big deal.
Okay.
Because Shane Doan is extremely media-friendly and has subbed many times on the sports station down there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a regular, and all the guys know him. I feel like I know him because I've heard him 1,000 times. I've never met him.
Yeah. Yak, we need hockey in the what is trending from now on.
Hockey.
Meanwhile, your Utah Jazz play the Rockets tonight. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Coverage on the Zone will start at 6
Me and my
o'clock.
house, we'll be watching NHL.
There it is. You got the Arizona Coyotes last 3 games, the schedule memorized here. Hockey free tonight. They're in Edmonton tomorrow.
Because I get those games.
They're in Edmonton tomorrow. They're in Calgary Sunday. They host Edmonton Wednesday.
Dude,
and then they ought to be in Utah by Friday.
Don't be reading schedules. No, they're available because I got that channel. And
yeah.
I get theirs in Vegas games.
Nice. All right, anything else you want to say about the Jazz with 3 games to go to wind it down?
No, they're just they're about creating hope.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
Hashtag NBA.
Pippen in the lane, and Mitchell took it from him. Saved it to Strus. Ahead to Garland. Garland hands to Allen. Pow! With 2 hands.
Black sending it inside, and another block for Brook Lopez got in the way of the shot of Goga Batadze, who's just checked in. Lillard's going to tee one up from 3, and he knocks it down. Damian Lillard getting some late points now with 29.
2 minutes to go in the half. Durant on the right wing, gets around a pick from Nurkic, penetrates to the right elbow, jumper on the way, and good for KD.
At least that one was inside the arc, little mid-range free throw line jump shot.
Inbound goes to Jamal Murray. Backcourt pressure being applied by Minnesota. Front court over to Christian. He's got Watson with him. Dunk that thing home! Right on Rudy Gobert! Oh, Rudy! Where you at, bro? Christian Brown just dumped that thing on your melon.
The Denver Nuggets beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 116-107. Denver, one game in front of the Thunder and the Wolves here with 2 games left in the season. It looks like the defending champs with an excellent chance to be the 1 seed in the West.
I wonder if that Homer announcer had the same enthusiasm when Gobert blocked the shot by whoever the heck made that shot. Probably not.
Probably not. While Denver was winning and taking down Minnesota, the Thunder were doing their thing. They blew out the Spurs 127-89. So as we use the Thunder as a potential Jazz model, 55 wins for Oklahoma City. Right in the thick of it for the top spot right now. See if they finish up 1, 2, or 3 here. Probably 2 or 3. Bucks handle the Magic. They're 2 in the East. They get 30 points from Bobby Portis and beat Orlando 117-99. Joe, going to Orlando, and they're still in the thick of it here. Will they be 4, 5, 6, or 7 in the East? How will it shake out, PK? Who will your guy Joe play in the playoffs?
Yeah, one more day of him reading standings, Yuck.
Yep. Well, no. You can probably get a couple more.
No.
Yeah, because Monday.
I was say wait till Monday.
It'll be the playoffs will be set. Or at least the
Hence the final day of reading the
plays.
standings. Yeah.
Well, no, it'll be about playoff seedings, not standings at that point.
Yeah, tomato. Donovan Mitchell, 29 points, 8 assists. The Cavs take down the Grizzlies. And Drew Holiday, 4 years, $135 million to keep playing for the Boston Celtics. Declined his player option, took the long-term deal in Boston. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Toronto Raptors' John T. Porter could be banned permanently from the league if an investigation into betting irregularities with Porter are proven to be true.
Well, especially if he was throwing stuff.
Faking injuries and getting out of games so that that hit on the under on the individual bets on him, whether he was going to score his 8.5 points or not. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
They're not going to get it for just the first 2 round picks. They're going to have to throw in their first round pick in 2025, plus some more draft capital to do what they have to do to go up and get it. So if they go get him, I don't think he's the 4th overall best quarterback in this draft, or I shouldn't say best quarterback, best player in this draft. But if you have to have one, then you're going to overpay to get one. I think he's going to be a good pro, but I think they're going to overpay if they have to go up and get him.
Rick Spiel analyzing the Minnesota Vikings' chances to move up in the draft and get J.J. McCarthy. Not the 4th best player in the draft, but you have to overpay for the 4th spot to get the 4th quarterback because everybody needs, seriously, close to half the league needs a quarterback.
Though? I mean, if he turns out to be really good, then you didn't. We wouldn't know for 3 or 4 more years. What is overpaying?
2 picks this year and another pick next year?
All that matters is whether the kid is good, not what you give up.
Does he turn into one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league? Because you have one of those guys, you got a chance. The NFL going to South America Friday, September 6th. That'll be game number 2. They'll still have the traditional Thursday opener. Packers and Eagles in the first ever NFL game to be played in Brazil. First ever game in South America, for that matter. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Circle it. How long till the NFL just has one game a night? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That first week coming off the preseason game. Every time they break out a game into another night, into another time slot, they make another gazillion dollars.
Huh.
Seems like only a matter of time.
Yeah, by the time it happens, I'll be dead.
Jacksonville Jaguars star pass rusher Josh Allen agreed to a 5-year, $150 million contract extension that includes $88 million guaranteed. He set the franchise record with 17.5 sacks last year.
I thought he was a quarterback of Buffalo.
That is the other Josh
Allen.
Yeah. Is his brother?
No.
Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers called his first year with the franchise a wild year, and then he initially feared his Achilles tendon injury was going to end his career. Rodgers, in a podcast appearance, says, I was really thinking this is it. You don't come back from this injury. Said, I am excited about playing. I love playing. I fell back in love with the game, and I had it taken away after 4 plays. I miss being out there. I love competing. Football's my happy place.
Well, I think that anytime you have less of something, it becomes more valuable. And obviously he's got way less time ahead of him than he does behind him. So it makes sense that he would feel that way.
Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice had arrest warrants issued by the Dallas Police Department yesterday, and he faces 8 charges stemming from the chain reaction crash he and another driver caused in Dallas. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Kyle said that he might want to go after a transfer portal quarterback. Have you thought about that at all at this point?
Yes.
Would you watch one?
Yeah. If the head coach wants to do that, that's what we'll do.
Andy Ludwig, Utah offensive coordinator. If the head coach wants to do it, that's what we'll do.
He's the boss.
Leave me out of this.
He knows where the marching orders come from.
I'm not wading into the middle of this one. A bunch of hypotheticals that might scare off a quarterback. It's the last thing.
You scare off somebody, you don't want them in the first place.
Yep.
You're afraid of competition, there's the door. Yeah, I think there's a decent chance if I were them, I would. But it's got to be the right guy. You don't need to add somebody just to add somebody.
No. It's got to be somebody you probably have a relationship with. You've seen film on him, and you think this guy can be the guy for us.
Yeah, somebody who's going to want to come in and compete, because obviously Cam's got one season, knock on wood, that he plays all 13, 14, whatever, how many games they have, and goes off and celebrates his 5th senior day in November, and then at that point, once the 24 season is over, the competition is on, and you want somebody in there who's going to be able to compete, preferably somebody who's actually been on the field. And we're looking at it right now from today's perspective. We don't know what's going to transpire during the course of the 12 ball games, and then probably more than that even. But the point I'm making is, if Cam is your guy and you just have a couple of guys split some time in garbage time throughout the season, whether it be Rose and Wilson, and that's not really big-time experience. And if somebody else is out there who has a fair amount of experience, you would want them in the mix for 25.
Let them learn on somebody else's time and come in and win on your time.
So I would think that you always have to be active in that portal if it's right. You don't want to just be active to be active. That's not where the Utes are. Some programs need to do that. But Utah's program is not in that position. They're about adding, either looking for depth specifically or impact players. They don't have to just take guys like the Sun Devils took Conover a year before. Well, he was never going to be their guy, but they needed depth. They needed bodies.
They needed bodies. They had been at 85, and suddenly they weren't anywhere near 85, and they had to get back to 85.
Right, and now he's gone, and he wasn't ever going to be a big-time player, but they needed players. Utah is not in that position by any stretch.
Right. Northwestern is going to play their home games for the next 2 seasons at a temporary on-campus stadium that sits on the banks of Lake Michigan as they rebuild Ryan Field. The school will likely play some home games at Wrigley Field and other Chicago area venues in addition to their temporary stadium. Little shades of what Hawaii has done, I guess.
Well, that's the model.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
And a pitch. Hit high in the air, left field. Hit well. Back goes Hernandez to the wall. Looks up. Out of here. A 2-homer game for Edward Julian, and the Twins back on top. 3-2.
Here comes the 10th pitch of this plate appearance. Change up, hit high in the air, deep right field. Tucker's back onto the track at the fence, and it's gone. Vinny Pasquantino's got his first home run of the year.
Here it comes. A swing and a line drive, base hit, right center, game winner, Bo Naylor. Tyler Freeman comes home from third. There'll be a mobbing between first and second as Bo Naylor gets Cleveland its first walk-off win of the season.
Josh and Bo Naylor going deep in the same inning. Cleveland beating the Chicago White Sox 7-6 in 10 innings.
Second time it's happened. I think they did it last year.
How many times do you think the Yankees and Dodgers are going to lose on the same day? These two teams seem to be tearing it up.
28.
28. There's the number. Twins beat the Dodgers 3-2, and the Marlins pick up their second win of the year and improve to 2-11 by beating the Yankees 5-2. Jackson Holliday, son of multiple-time All-Star Matt Holliday from Colorado and St. Louis. Jackson Holliday debuted, drove in a run, wore his dad's number 7, struck out a couple times too, but the Orioles beat the Red Sox 7-5.
Nephew of the Oklahoma State coach.
Salt Lake Bees blow out Las Vegas 8-1, their third straight win. Same two teams tonight right here on The Zone. 7:50 first pitch. Game will get going at 8:05. DJ and PK.
Golf.
Well, we heard there was going to be bad weather on the opening day of the Masters. And here it is. The first round of the Masters has been delayed. The weather forecasters spot on. Bob Casper said could be up to 2 inches thunderstorms. Depends on if they just park and just start dumping over the Masters. So right now, they pushed everything back until 8:30 Mountain Time. Originally, that's a 2.5-hour delay. Originally, they were supposed to start at 6 o'clock our time. But they got wind, they got bad weather, thunderstorms today, and then they'll be playing catch-up, however much golf they get in later today, catch-up tomorrow, maybe Saturday too.
Yeah, I saw that the Braves game was canceled last night.
Yep.
PK, by the way, going back to baseball just for a moment, the Naylor brothers that you talked about them hitting the home runs in the same game before, yours truly was actually at that game last year when they played the Rangers.
What a small world.
I was trying to think about it. I think that's the game I went to last year.
Huh.
You saw it happen.
Did you get a ball? Did you catch a ball and then get a bat, signed a jersey?
I was not that lucky, no.
Fetch.
That is what is trending. Coming up, Brian Taylor, co-host Real Golf Radio, will join us live from Augusta at 8 o'clock. Ian Mendez, NHL senior writer for The Athletic, at 8:30. What's happening with the Arizona Coyotes? What's going on with the NHL in Phoenix? When do the moving vans start heading for Utah? We'll talk with him at 8:30. Kevin Graham, longtime sports radio host, program director, will join us at 9 o'clock. And we have RSL tickets to give away in the 8 o'clock hour today. That is all coming up. Stay with us. The question of the day is next.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
He is a columnist for ArizonaSports.com. He's also the co-host of a midday show on 98.7 FM in Phoenix. Dan Bickley, where's the community at on this? I mean, are they fighting to keep the Coyotes?
There's a small group of very, very loyal hockey fans who have stuck with this hockey franchise throughout a couple of decades of this. But you have to understand, this relocation game has been a part of this hockey team for almost 2 decades now, and people are tired of it. I think most casual sports fans in Arizona just want resolution. You would have to have lived this on a year-to-year basis to understand how exhausting all of this has been to the common fan. And while I think there was a point in time in our history as a sports market that being a big league sports town, having all 4 major professional sports was something of value, I don't know if that's any longer the case.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
We want to create hope. That's our objective. We want to give our fans and our players and our coach hope. With that hope, you maximize everybody's excitement.
That's allowed us to continue to build this next iteration of the Jazz.
It is time for Hot Takes or Toast, brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen, with 30 years of serving Utah. That's from a new Jazz documentary coming out. Ryan Smith says we're just trying to put together the best team, or put the best team together, and there you hear Danny Ainge saying we want to create hope. That's our objective. What do you think? That is the question of the morning.
Get on our app, too. Tell us how much hope do you have.
The open mic feature is back on our app. You can record up to 60 seconds, send us your hot takes, and Yak will put them on the air.
And if you don't, we're going to make you toast.
Mason, well, I guess this takes patience, but not much hope when you give up on 2 seasons, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but that's just part of the hope, man. If hope is the same thing, at least ballpark to cousin to faith, right?
First cousin to faith.
Can you buy that?
Hey, Hope, you want Faith to come over for a sleepover this weekend? It's a holiday and you got Monday off from school. Yeah, bring the cousins over. Yeah, I get where you're going with it.
On a Sunday, you want sleepover? Man, you're not in tune with the people in this community. Yeah, so hope is sort of the same thing as faith, right? And you want folks to start thinking, okay, it's not looking good right now, so I'm going to lose hope. Well, then you never really had faith. And, well, when the team is winning, a la Oklahoma City, you don't need the hope. They're already winning. So you don't need the faith. Well, in order to have faith, you got to believe in something. You can't see it right in front of your face because then there's no need to have faith.
So you need more faith now because there's so little hope.
If Jesus came down right now and said, PK, you need to go to this church.
Uh-huh.
What faith would I need? That would be a direct order. There'd be no need for faith.
Yeah.
There would be no need for hope.
That's called knowledge.
He's getting into doubting Thomas territory here. Right?
There's right there in front of you. So that's what you have to have here.
Troy says, I can't support a losing to win mentality. Look at Sacramento and all the losing to get high draft picks. They created a losing mentality. Maybe I'm just old and I miss the good old days.
Look at Oklahoma City.
Well, Chris says, and now Sacramento is winning, so it worked.
Winning at a small level.
Having missed the playoffs 16 times in 17 years. How much losing do you have to do to get?
That's a while ago, though.
How much losing do you have to get? How much losing do you have to go through, and how much winning do you get for your patience in the bad times?
Well, that's an individual assessment there. I can't assign someone a belief.
You can individually assess it and use our app. You can go to Facebook, DJ and PK. You can go to Twitter, David DJ James. You can go to our app, use the open mic, send us your takes.
I mean, Oklahoma City's just getting started.
It does look that way, doesn't it?
I don't know what the outcome will be in 5 years as we look back. What level of winning will they achieve? And even if they don't win at all.
Yeah, that's your point about what level. What if they go to 5 conference finals in 7 years?
That's really good.
That's a lot of postseason basketball. Yeah. That's a lot of time around the water cooler or, now wasting time at the start of a Zoom meeting, whatever. There's a lot of time to talk to the neighbor over the fence.
Yeah, so I consider that a high level of winning. I consider what the Jazz did with the statues a high level of winning. I mean, I realize they didn't get it all, but they still.
Right. But the 5 conference finals in 7 years is what they did, and it's what the Celtics have done now. And they haven't won it all yet. Maybe this is their year. Certainly ought to be 6 conference finals in 8 years for the Celtics. They ought to do that again.
Yeah.
Aaron's down on the whole process. Not the Jazz particularly. He goes league-wide. The NBA is a mess. Tanking to get draft picks, fixing the draft order, superstars only win, ignoring good basketball players for points, flopping for fouls.
What do you mean ignoring good basketball players? What does that mean?
I.e. LeBron traveling every time he gets the ball.
Okay. All right.
Oh, ignoring good basketball plays for points. The league is a joke, Aaron concludes. But someone still watches because they're making tons of money. Not my cup of tea anymore. I haven't watched a full game since the COVID lockdown debacle.
Why do they feel the need to say that? Like that's some...
I'm out.
Yeah. I don't believe you.
If you were really out, you wouldn't tell us you're out. You'd just be out.
Yeah. Like you get I haven't listened to that show in years. You're lying. You want people to believe it. And you don't run around telling people your list of accomplishments or what you believe is a sign of, look at you, you're something special. If you don't care about something, you don't even mention it. Like, I don't care about NASCAR. Like, you never hear me rip it. You never hear me say anything about it. It has no interest to me. And if it is for you, great, fine, no problem.
Drive on down to Vegas and Phoenix.
Do what you want.
Go to California and see your race.
So each time they tell you that, maybe it's the old school journalist in me that is trained to be skeptical on all things.
Sniff it out.
Yeah, I just don't believe it.
Jared says, I love this. When you're 0-45, you got to try something different.
The thing that I question is them releasing the snippet of the document now. And probably would have waited till after the season. But when you're riding a 13-game losing streak and you're down by 20 virtually every first quarter, there's not a lot of hope. And Ainge, who the only time he speaks is the internal media, which is designed to protect. It's controlled. And that's his right. Fine, do that. And certainly that everyone is doing that. So it's not like he's anything different. But outside of a hello, that's really all you're going to get from him. Unless it's something that's an employer-employee relationship.
Mark says Danny Ainge won't talk to the media. So why, as a Jazz fan, should I believe that statement from him?
Oh, I believe it.
He wants to create hope.
I don't think he's in here to lose. You think he's in here to lose? Or he doesn't give a crap? Doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't. Why would you sit courtside, show up on TV, have people saying, your team's losing? You're like, hey, yeah, great, no problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense.
I mean, at 65 years old, does he need it?
There's been too much of, no, he could absolutely take off and go to a beach somewhere. Don Nelson did. I'm sure we can think of other people who did. Phil Jackson has finally largely disappeared.
Yeah, so I have no doubt that he's going to try to win, do everything in his power to get it done. I mean, I don't think that's the question.
Scott, why would Ainge talk to the media and provide info for other teams to take advantage of? Don't tip your hand. I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing.
Well, that's the Jazz fan that they want. That's why they produce in-house material for that very person.
It's for you, Scott.
Yeah.
Tyson says the good old Jazz days are long gone. The Millers sold for a reason. Used to be the loudest arena in the NBA. Home court advantage was real. Fans don't care anymore. It's very quiet now at home games. No passion.
Well, when you're down by 20, what passion you gonna have?
It's a little hard. You got to have something to cheer for.
What is the reason? If they sold for a reason, what's the reason?
Because the good old days are gone.
That's it?
Because they were switching out of cars and basketball and headed for baseball and real estate.
That's the effect. That's not the cause.
They pivoted as a business.
Why? That doesn't tell me why. I'm going to be interested to think what he knows as far as they sold for a reason. I don't think there's one singular reason. We can all guess.
Melody says it broke my heart to see some of our players traded, but not all is lost. Keontae's being mentioned as first-team all-rookie on national programs I listen to. Markkanen's been great. Taylor has unique skills. I'd love to see some additions this summer.
Yeah, Markkanen just doesn't play enough.
Sitting again at the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean,
Will they put somebody around him or somebody better than him and have a good enough team and make a run at the playoffs and give us something to talk about in April as opposed to talking about playing out the string?
Yes. The question is when. They're never going to miss the playoffs every single year for the rest of time.
But how long will the rebuild stretch out? We all wonder.
Yeah, I think we got another 2 to 3 years. And it's up to management to provide levels of hope along the way, too. You're just not going to go suck, off-season, great. I'd be shocked if that happened.
It's not how it usually works.
And you look at Oklahoma City, they didn't do it that way. I mean, SGA has been showing promise. And he's been good. This is not the first year he's really good. And then this is the first year of Holmgren.
Yeah, but it's probably been the third year SGA's been really good.
Yeah. And they had a couple other guys there. Dort has been a tough defender for a few years now. Giddey has shown a little bit of promise. Williams is sort of new on the scene. The formula is so simple, but it's extremely difficult to accomplish. Draft well, make a key trade or two, pick up somebody that's available,
and let your young core grow together.
Yeah, and then the way you go. And maybe they have that right now. Doesn't look like it, I'll say. But maybe they've got these young dudes that will develop at the same time and turn into something. Maybe next year they take a quantum leap. I still wouldn't think playoff. But then the following year, then they're battling for a winning record. It's very much conceivable. But at the same time, I wouldn't forecast it. I need more information to be able to feel a level of confidence. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is going to happen. You know, I came back from the Rose Bowl a couple years ago. I said, man, this C.J. Stroud, man, he is just unbelievable. He's incredible. I haven't seen that level out of any of these guys to come in and say, wow, rookie so-and-so, he's just incredible. It's just a matter of time.
No, it's all potential at this point. Right. And we can sit here and talk about, well, what's their ceiling? We can also sit here and talk about what's their floor. I mean, none of them are really guaranteed anything, are they? They're guaranteed the rookie contract somewhere in the league. But past that?
I think they're guaranteed to be roster players. So I think they're guaranteed to be in the league and be on rosters unless they went off the deep end and started doing knucklehead stuff. I think that's the floor. Certainly for Hendricks and George. In 5 years from now, if they want to be, they should be in the league.
Philip says, I still believe, and I'm good for another bad season or two. It's been fun watching the rookies grow and improve. We never got to see that under previous coaches. Never. No rookies grew and improved. Seems a bit of a reach.
Well, I think you saw that under Frank Layden. Right?
Big T, Thurl Bailey grew and improved.
Well, the three great draft choices that they had in a row. Thurl.
Big T, and then John Stockton, and then Karl Malone. Yeah. 3 consecutive drafts.
Yeah.
3 really good players.
I mean, that's what you have to do.
Hit again, and hit again.
It's obvious. That's what you have to do. That's what they did. And that's what they're going to have to do now. Clearly, there's no other way around it.
Trade for Jeff Malone, have a couple good seasons. Trade for Jeff Hornacek, do even better than that.
And I would even throw Mark Eaton in there.
Big Mark.
As a critical component, a foundation piece that they hit on in a draft that doesn't even go that far now. Was he fourth round? Yeah, obviously they just cut it off after 2 now. So that would be a player then that you would scout and bring him in, a la Lou Dort. Was not drafted. Jazz had 3 second-round picks that year. They didn't hit on any of them. I'm not going to criticize them because they're second-round picks. If the first round, they had 3 first-rounders and didn't hit on any of them, then that's another story. But second-rounders, but at the same time, I had somebody in the organization say, my gosh, why didn't we take Lou Dort? He was available. Rugged kid. Scott Gerard knew of Lou Dort. He broadcast an Aggie game in Vegas. Texted me, what about this Lou Dort? I texted back, I know nothing about him. I had no clue. And he said, oh my gosh, this guy. And he only played the 1 season and bet on himself, didn't get drafted, and now has been in the league 3, 4, 5 years. Awesome. That's the way. The blueprint is clear. That's what's cool about it. You know how to do it. Everybody, I know how to do it. You know how to do it. And we're not professionals in doing it, but we know how to do it.
We know how it is done.
Now it's up to those guys to get it done.
I would say we know how it's done. Yeah. It's the actual doing it that gets tricky.
Well, it's when it comes time for draft pick and you select a draft choice. It's got to be the player.
Because so many people passed on Steph Curry and Giannis and on down the line. Even a couple teams passed on Luka Doncic. Oops.
Yeah.
And, of course, the whole league passed on the Joker. 1 DJ and PK coming up. Yeah, we got the Jazz over here, but are they going to be sharing an arena pretty soon? At least for a couple years? An expansion NHL team or the Arizona Coyotes? What's your preference? We will get to that next. Stay with us.
Accessing. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
Frank Saravalli, Hockey Insider at Daily Faceoff. Give me your odds on an NHL team playing in Salt Lake City next year.
If you were walking into a sports book in Vegas and you were looking at the odds board, it would say, will the Arizona Coyotes franchise be playing in Salt Lake City next season? You'd probably be looking at a minus 275 next to it.
Ooh. This is developing rapidly. It's not done, but I'm told that they've made significant and meaningful progress on what would be the framework of an agreement to sell the Arizona Coyotes franchise to Ryan Smith and the Smith Entertainment Group and bring NHL hockey to Salt Lake City in time for puck drop in October.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is developing rapidly. It's not done, but I'm told that they've made significant and meaningful progress on what would be the framework of an agreement to sell the Arizona Coyotes franchise ultimately to Ryan Smith and the Smith Entertainment Group and bring NHL hockey to Salt Lake City in time for puck drop in October.
There's Frank Saravalli updating us on NHL news and Utah's future with the NHL. Band of the day is Kiss. They just cashed in on their music catalog. Sold it for $300 million. Band of the day brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2024, check out livenation.com.
I'm telling you right now, if NHL comes, I'm going to rock and roll all night and party every day in the afternoon and in the morning, and I'm going to boogie overnight and whatever else they sang in that legendary song. Yeah, you can count on it, man.
An expansion NHL team or moving the Arizona Coyotes, the Yotes, to the locals. What is your preference?
Now, Frank Saravalli said he's been told, and you, in a commercial break, said you've been told. Look at, I love that. I've been told. I love that phrase. So what have you been told? Here's your moment in the sun. The reason why you're an award winner right there. You've been told.
I don't think I want to tell you.
Did you even get any sleep? You were just
got about 4 hours.
Pounding it all night, man. You've been told what you've been working on. The sources. Now, is this one source you've been told or multiple? Just
one? One.
Uno Doctor?
One doctor?
Yeah, that was Kyle's thing on what was holding up cameras.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
One doctor. I do now. I didn't. Okay. When you first said it, I'm like, what is PK talking about?
Uno Doctor.
Yeah.
Uno Doctor.
With the one finger up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember now. Uno Doctor.
You've been told, David James Sniggledorf III.
One of the things I was told is what Yock
told
just
multiple
told
things
us
now.
During the break.
So one person told you multiple things.
Was that that the league is in the middle of this sale?
So Pierre LeBrun, who we've had on the show, was on TSN Sports Center last night and said that the league is in the middle of this. Essentially, what would happen is the league would buy the Coyotes franchise from Morello, the owner down there in Arizona, turn around, sell it to Ryan Smith and SEG with an additional relocation fee on top of it to disperse out to the rest of the NHL owners.
So the rest of the NHL owners get like $10 million for raising their hand and voting yes?
Yeah.
And you've been told that?
That'll be $300 million.
Sweet, man. I love it when you've been told stuff.
If they're going to move to Utah, it makes sense that they would move as soon as possible because there would be a lot of things to do before they could drop the puck next fall. So Arizona plays the last game Wednesday. The NHL
hockey lingo now.
Drop the puck.
Oh,
but I have
man.
to say it really carefully because, like you said yesterday when you were contemplating the end of your career if the NHL moves here, careful.
And you're going to go over there and there's going to be people going crazy and you're going to think, man, this is the market.
I don't have to. I already got an email.
From what?
The same one you got. The one you were talking about earlier today.
Oh, but that's this job.
Right.
Not where you pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the National Hockey League of America.
You drop soccer like a hot friggin' potato. That's been my whole premise all along. You act like you're in love with it. You're in love with yourself and what helps you get where you want to go. And I don't blame you. And the great thing about it is you have those other people actually fooled. That's what's amazing.
And by other people, you mean like, what, Trey?
The soccer folks, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
or like soccer fans.
Folks.
Oh, okay.
A to Z. And I sit back in amazement because I know the truth.
Oh, okay.
And it's a marvelous work that you do. And you do the same thing here. You'd act like you're buddy with Shane Doan.
It's a marvelous work and a wonder.
Shane Doan.
Shane Doan, I think they played his rookie year, they played in Winnipeg, and then they moved to Phoenix. And now it's looking like his son, Josh, will play one year in Phoenix
and move to Utah.
Yeah. And he's their Karl Malone of the Coyotes franchise.
He's the guy.
Yeah. And plus he's very glib and very media friendly and very available, too. So I would imagine they would be upset about that because that involves moving. So, of course, if you've ever been involved in a job transfer,
it's not relate. Exciting.
Yeah.
Selling houses, if the older players pulling kids out of school.
Yeah. So you can imagine why the people involved wouldn't just go crazy.
There have been stories about that, and it's one of the things that makes us all think this is accelerating. It's really going to happen. As the stories coming out of Phoenix, the players are not excited, and they've heard stuff.
What else have you been told?
Oh, I have to think.
Big ears.
Big ears.
What do you got? Come on.
I think that's largely the gist of it right there.
So they come.
The reporting for people. I was not told that it was done.
Well, it's not done.
Right.
If it were done, there'd be an announcement.
But it seems like they might.
No, if it were done, there'd be an announcement. You just told me that they got to do it as soon as possible. Now you're waffling. That doesn't make any sense. Be consistent.
Are they waiting for Arizona to play their last home game? So they don't have...
what the hell's the difference? They're playing in a 4,500-seat arena. Who cares?
Yeah, some visuals of, people outside the arena protesting or something. I don't know.
They're going to do that either way.
Not if they announce it after it's over.
No, I disagree.
You think they'll just do it on the premise?
There's so much news out there.
Yeah, it's leaking. There's so many things that have to be done.
The dam is broke. It's beyond a leak.
Right. There's so many things that have to be done that they've had to just move and get along with it.
Yeah. It's out there.
So even if the T's aren't crossed and the I's aren't dotted, it seems like with the momentum, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and the folks who want them to stay are going to be extremely upset. We understand that.
And there are plenty of those people. Actually, some of them with this question on our Facebook page, an expansion NHL team or the Arizona Yotes, what's your preference? Jacob says, as someone from Arizona, I would hate to see them lose their team when they've been fighting so hard to keep them, especially because their trouble started about 10 years ago when Glendale tried to kick them out while ignoring their contract. So please be an expansion team.
All right. Well, he has at least an emotional vested interest in the team remaining in its current home and not its original home.
Nick says if it is a relocation, then it would be like the Seattle Supersonics all over again, only this time it would be in hockey. Kevin is not worried about Arizona. I'm impatient. Relocation would get a team here on the ice sooner than expansion.
And there's no doubt about that. That's a fact. That's a black and white fact. You cannot argue that.
Eldon says, I'll take any team except the Boston Bruins. It's very specific, Eldon.
Screw the Bruins.
I'm moving one of the original six. You think moving the Arizona Coyotes is a big deal?
Move one of the
moving
original
the Bruins
six.
out of Boston. Move one of the original six. That'd do it. All right, you've got some more reporting here from Frank Saravelli.
Yes, Saravelli was obviously with Hans and Scotty yesterday, and going back to one of the comments just a minute ago about the concern of bringing an expansion franchise here versus the established franchise. Well, Saravelli says that at least with you talk about the Doan kid, they've got some options here. It looks like they can make them a pretty competitive program. Here you go.
The Coyotes are really uniquely positioned, whereas instead of wanting to start from scratch with an expansion team, if I were in Ryan Smith's shoes, I'd much rather start with the Coyotes. You've got building blocks of good players. You've got some fantastic prospects. You've got an arsenal of draft picks to deal from. And you've got a team that, at least this season until January, showed a ton of compete and fight.
Yeah, that sounds just like the Jazz.
Well, actually, the Jazz have had 2 rebuilding years, and Arizona's missed the playoffs 10 out of 11. So Arizona's actually in Phoenix Suns territory, moving towards Warriors and Kings rebuild.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why they're in the little pickle
situation they're in.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily the truth anymore. I mean, in their first season, the Knights lost in the final.
The expansion rules were very friendly, and they were very good very quickly in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And we actually do have people posting here that they would prefer an expansion team as opposed to an organization that's had a lot of problems like the Coyotes.
Yeah. I mean, the Knights, it was until their, 5th season that they did not make the playoffs. I think in the 4th they won it.
Yeah, Josh says, I would prefer expansion just to be able to compete immediately, but I will take the NHL here any way we can get it.
It's probably the safer thing. If I knew that everything was even, I would probably prefer the expansion. But at the same time, if something is there, take it, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
So I get why Ryan Smith would want to bring the team and get going on this, if nothing else, and detract from the mess that the Jazz are.
That's a positive, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look over here.
And
meanwhile, the rebuild continues over here.
The cool thing, man, if he were to be the principal owner, you don't want to own 2 teams who suck.
Well, Arizona right now, 7th out of 8 teams in their division, 13th out of 16 teams in their conference.
Yeah, but they got draft picks. They got
do.
Josh Doan. And
how quickly can young guys turn it around?
They're going to have to – the pressure would be on that man to start fielding a winning team because he has no cachet. I mean, I can't count a minority ownership of RSL.
Right. All right, DJ and PK, we have more on the pending, potential, seemingly inevitable, but not quite yet official NHL move of the Coyotes to Utah. Ian Mendez, NHL senior writer for The Athletic, joins us at 8:30. Brian Taylor coast to Real Golf Radio, live from Augusta, Georgia, where they've got at least a 2.5-hour weather delay. That's next. Brian will join us. Stay with us.